Album 4 is really short so far. I would call it Madam President, and you can already think of some ideas of what the cover would look like. Um, in real life, I thought of entering in high school and in college. I had kind of planned on going into politics and becoming president, and politics right now has soured me so much that I don't think I could even. First of all, I wouldn't have the money. That's the first thing that drove me away from politics. And the second thing is that it's so dirtied. I don't know how effective I could actually be uh, as in politics. So I thought, what about a and I don't want to get political in this album, but I thought I should mention specific things, societal ills. I have track one being the generation gap, how um, younger generations don't appreciate the older generations, what they've accomplished. And I don't think anybody could really disagree with that. I don't think it could really be so divisive politically. And our society not valuing intelligence as it should. Um, and number three, cults, because I think cults are the cult mindset, something very destructive. So I'll come up with the other tracks, but you get my idea. I'm not being political per se, but um, I want to point out societal ills, and so I would call it Madam President. And so those are the four albums so far. Um, I should say that I looked through the frequency of albums released for major artists, especially early on in their careers, and it seems like the more prolific ones come out with in a decade. Like every third year, every second year on average. So I think if I have these four albums, I think they could carry me for a while. Um, all right, so on to final thoughts. I've noticed this thing for quite a while now. I noticed that I give good pictures when I'm smiling. That's because I'm posing for the shot, and I look a lot more feminine when I'm smiling. So, and I've heard that that women tend to smile more than men. So That's a little thing I noticed before we get into the albums. So I'm going to try to sing. I'm going to try to smile more often. Still look masculine, but I'm gonna keep trying at least. One thing I wanted to do is with these songs is this may be my only chance to express myself. I may not be a professional writer, but if I can do this, maybe I can write music and people will be able to understand me better. It's a creative way, maybe my only creative way. So I didn't want to make up things. These albums and these songs are coming from my heart, and obviously the first one I'm going to mention is based on a kind of hot cold relationship. But obviously, dressed like this, I couldn't sing about being in love with a girl. So I switched the genders, and so I'm going to do that throughout all my albums when I'm dressed like this. Just kind of keep consistency. But they are, besides the gender switch, they're coming from the heart. They are sincere, and they draw from my own personal experience. Okay, so now, album one. So the first album, I'll describe the cover for it. I have in mind it being my first album. So it would be something, I'd be in like a romantic pose, kind of a sexy pose perhaps, and it follows a true journey I had. The first track on it is, the title is called Out of My Shell, and the first track is called Mockery. Now, these aren't the ultimate titles. I'll choose other titles, but they're kind of filler space. So the first one is Mockery. The second one is Out of My Shell. The third one is The Awful Night. And the next one is Bond Girl. And Childhood Nostalgia, Jewish Identity, Letting Go, Don't Abandon Myself, and Reunion. And those are 9. I may come up with a 10th. So let's go to the first one, track 1, Mockery. It's about feeling envy for other girls with boyfriends, kind of general mockery in school. I tried to pick the songs, the way I would express these songs, in a more universal way, so more people could relate to them. It would talk about my aloneness, my sense that I'm alone in amidst these different kids, and then this guy wearing a face of machismo, which is you could be able to read the lines in terms of my real actual experience. It was a girl, and she was more, we were reaching middle school, and she was more feminine. Everybody was blooming. And so I thought the opposite of that would be more machismo, more masculine. So that's why I made the change there. So track 2, let me move this over, see if I can move this over. All right, I can't. It's called Breaking Out of My Shell. It's where I confess an attraction to a certain person, and I leave my vulnerability. I put my own vulnerability at risk, and I wrote some bits here that I don't need to really go into. I'm just giving you an overall listing of my songs and what they're about. And then the third song is called The Awful Night. And I be feeling like a zombie. My life is over. It didn't go well. Reflecting on how I couldn't be able to open up, and I couldn't develop a friendship with this person, with this guy, and feeling low. And then the next track 4, I called Bond Girl, because I thought it'd be a neat thing as a female impersonator to develop a song about being a Bond girl, because I've enjoyed the James Bond movies, and I thought it'd be fun. Same thing goes along. There's a mermaid. I like to do a mermaid song. But I haven't yet figured out how to compose it or what album to put it in. So anyway, got to remember to keep that smile, those cheekbones. All right, so a Bond Girl. So in real life, I'll say it. In real life, after this experience, I developed a kind of like a nostalgia and an attraction to Madonna, and kind of a mental link, sort of like a wishful thing and a fantasy, and I want to explore that in this song. But of course, I want to pick a male equivalent, and I thought maybe James Bond would be good, but come to think of it, I don't think James Bond would really fit because number one, he's a fictional character, and I'm singing about a real life person. So um, I've got to pick somebody else. But overall, it's about um, developing a fantasy crush on somebody because you weren't able to, um, because of a bad relationship, you kind of, or at least I did, bounce into a fantasy and exploring, wanting to develop, to fill my emptiness with something, and seeing commonalities in this other person, and that's what made me reconsider using James Bond, um, and I might pick something else. Okay, that's track 4, and then track 5, childhood nostalgia. Um, I have here escaping to childhood nostalgia, inspired by an interpretation of the song "The Goonies Are Good Enough" by Cyndi Lauper. Um, and then the next, Jewish identity, um, conflict between remaining loyal to my proud identity as a Jew and um, not having found someone special, being lonely. Um, should I go for a boyfriend and escape, abandon my Jewish identity or not? Um, and then letting go, um, having to finally, excuse me, I've got to say this. When I speak like this, it seems to cause me to want to burp a lot. I don't know why. I don't know why, but it just does. Having to finally let go of memories over past love, having to, and it cuts off, so I'm going to have to guess, over past love, um, and then having this unresolved finale, unresolved answers as to why, what happened in the relationship. So that's what this song is about. Having to perhaps move on, even though you may not get the resolution that you really want. And then the next one, number 8, was actually inspired by the song "Flowers" sung by Miley Cyrus. There's a line that she sings called um, "I something me." Um, so from that, I thought, um, I've got to smile more. Um, hmm, um, I can abandon other things, but the most important thing that I don't want to ever abandon is my own self. Um, and then number 8, or no, sorry, excuse me, number 9 is reunion. And I do have a real reunion coming up. And in this fictional scenario, it's like a fantasy I've been thinking about for the past few decades, of going back to the reunion and seeing this person again. And I had a little moment of the song "Fame" might work in there. But confronting this person, and you kind of come full circle, 360, and I don't know where I take it from there. And then, let me see, track 10 I don't have yet. So that's album 1. I'm going to go to album 2 now. The album is based on my interest in the paranormal, and I don't think anybody's ever done this before. I may be wrong, but I'd be kind of neat. The whole album is a sequence of the out-of-body experience, or the near death experience, And I only have about 6 um, tracks so far. I want to make it 10, so I need to come up with at least 4 more. But it starts off with a mental link with my mom. I don't think anybody's ever done a song like this before. Um, my mom is now deceased, and sometimes I wonder if, um, you know, being as interested in the paranormal as I am, um, I wonder if there's some kind of mental link, if there is an afterlife, if she's watching me right now, or just in general. Um, how much, um, kind of, is there a telepathic kind of contact? So I thought that'd be fun to do as a song. And then my next one was, believe it or not, actually based on my own interpretation of a song by Katie Lang called "Come to My Window." You could probably laugh when you hear this. The song is definitely not about this, but it's "Come to My." You can hear the lyrics on YouTube, but part of it is "Come to my window, wait by the light of the moon," and I, being interested in alien abduction, I immediately pictured these aliens in the window, and also something deeper, that if you read alien abduction accounts, it kind of straddles the straddles between what we accept as normal, mundane, and acceptable reality world, and kind of like a supernatural world. You could call it maybe between supernatural or fantasy, or waking dream, or what we consider our waking adult life, real life. And so that's what I imagined anyway. So I thought that would be that's my interpretation. So it's like these aliens or these beings come and appear in the window, and I get taken up. And the next song is, I just labeled Kabbalah. I know many of you don't know that there are, about Kabbalah. First of all, it's a Jewish mysticism. I know my voice is getting low. I'm sorry. I know that, but at least my cheekbones are staying. I'll get this to click together eventually. Anyway, Kabbalah is a Jewish mysticism, but that kind of downgrades it. It's much more than that. It's like a philosophy, and there are masculine and feminine masculine and feminine aspects to it. And one interesting story, there's a creation story in it, and there's a story called the Pardes, known as the Pardes meditation, where there are 4 rabbis who enter into a meditation to see paradise. And so the interesting aspect is that one comes out of it. One never comes out. Another one comes out, and he's all scatterbrained. He can't. It's like a bad drug trip, and I couldn't take it. And the third one becomes an atheist. It says that he cuts down the trees, and that's a euphemism. It's taken to be a euphemism for something. Basically, the experience turned him so much against the experience itself, and possibly Judaism, something like that. So he proceeds to cut down all the growing trees. And then the fourth one is Rabbi Akiva, and he's the only one who comes out intact, And in the story, there are philosophical reasons for it, and it's very fascinating. So I want to use that. And somebody gave a relationship between that, a possible interpretation, possibly the correct one, between that and the Tree of Life, which is a model, a diagram in the Tree of Life, a very famous one in Kabbalah. So I wanted to merge those together. I want to write a song about possibly me being in Rabbi Akiva's position and going through and coming out intact. And then that leads to, remember, this is all a near-death experience. So it starts off with me having some kind of vague connection with my deceased mom, and then alien abduction, sort of angels or fairies or aliens come to my window, and then this Pardes experience, and then the next thing is I just call core self, and this is important. There is a real psychologist called Dr. Richard Schwartz, and he dealt with family dynamics, how certain members of the family will take on certain roles, and so when he found, when he was interviewing people individually, he found that they would say, one part of me thinks this way, another part of me thinks this way, and he came up with this model called the Internal Family Systems Model, which postulates that each of us has little parts that develop, and they can hold on to emotional trauma, or I find that very fascinating. Anyway, he found that there are some traits that people would say where it's not really one of those parts. It's I know my voice is going way down. I've got to work on that. So he found that there are eight, maybe more core traits that, and they all start with C, and they're when you feel in the zone, you don't feel like you have any trauma. They don't feel like these other parts. Let me see how many of them I can name here. Okay, courage, curiosity, compassion, confidence, and a whole bunch of other ones I'm forgetting at the moment. But that relates also to the Force, as described in the original trilogy of Star Wars. And so in this journey in the album, I'm going closer and closer to my own true self, beneath externality. Who am I at my core being? And then there are several songs after that. I have to fill those in. And then track 9, I labeled Communion. And it's about finding myself in the garden. You may have heard people in a near-death experience being in a garden. Very beautiful, very vivid. And it's very close to, I don't want to say God, because that brings up all sorts of connotations about people's perceptions of God. I mean, it's sort of like a unifying force or deity behind the entire structure of the universe. So kind of developing, opening up and joining, or being more aware of this, having communion with this entity. And then at the end, the final track, I labeled reincarnation, where it's not necessarily about a bodily transformation or reincarnation. It's about transformation, and it could even be, philosophical. It could be how you changed in some way. You're not the same person that you were. So along those lines. All right. So that's album 2. And I thought as an album cover, I would have some kind of like aura around myself, and I'm ascending. That's one possibility. I may also play around with different cultural aspects of near-death experiences or deity or something. Okay, on to album 3. Okay, album 3. This is also one that I think is very interesting. I haven't really seen an album idea like this. I just called it Youth or Childhood. And it's about my memories of childhood, both good and bad. And also I want to say that when I was designing these tracks, I wanted to do what I think professional pop singers, this is what it's going to be on. I would be in the pop singer genre. I wanted to get a mix of different kinds of styles of song and moods, different kinds of moods, sad, happy, so forth. So this one, let me see, album 3, Memories of Childhood, and I picked, I have 5 so far, 5 tracks so far. The first one is Girlfriends, and it's based, actually, I said these are all based on my true real experiences, and it's based on not being a boy, switching back to boy for a moment, a childhood friend that I had, and the deepest, I was thinking that I've had other friends later on in life, but sometimes you may agree, true childhood or true friendship is rare. And as a child, there was this one friend I had in school, and we would visit each other's, actually I would visit his house. And we had a very deep bond, and something very special. And so I thought of how special, being a guy, I guess, I don't know for sure, but it seems girls have very close connections, maybe as children. So I labeled as girlfriends, and I would talk about that depth and the perspective as a girl, little girl, seeing adults their own ways, but we have something special, and I don't know, just and also the separation. I want to talk about how I really my mom and I had to separate. I had to go to a new school, and sadness I felt. I would be able to, I didn't know at the time, but I would be able to visit sometimes. It would take a long, well, anyway, I'm diverting. But there was a sense of separation, and then middle school we were still in contact, but by high school we had drifted apart, and I want to talk about that too in the song. All right, so that's track 1, and then track 2. Anybody who grew up in the 80s might identify with this. Think of the shopping mall and everybody roaming around. I remember the 80s music playing, and I labeled this track 2 Castle Playground, and music's playing, and there are all sorts of toys and movies and music and all sorts of posters and so forth. Very glittery, very bright and shiny. And I remember Video Arcade, and it was like it was also like a second home to me, I felt. And a lot of excitement. And there were different malls too. So I want to capture that excitement. And it's not just about the mall, it's about the 1980s in general, and summertime, and the feeling that as soon as school is over, um, it feels like you have forever. Summertime, it's warm. You can, I don't know about you, but I like warm temperature. Um, just laying out on the beach and doing all those fun activities. So I want to capture that in a song, and so that's Castle Playground. Like Castle this, Castle that. This is Castle Playground, and then Through the Window. Oh, this is more of a serious toned song. I have here seeing people make strides in their lives. I have amazement, awe, envy over them. It's called Looking Through the Window, and I have in here, I want to overcome this feeling of being trapped. I want to express that I have abilities, creative energies, and potential to be able to make it big. I think so. And my cousins had made it, from my vantage point anyway, had been able to make it big. And also that there were certain people in my life, not people in my life, people that I had followed in terms of, I mentioned before I was interested in the paranormal, and I was an avid reader of UFO books and books on the paranormal, and there were famous people who were famous for having written books, and they would do tours and so forth, and I envied those people who were doing those things. I was interested in politics in high school, and I would watch these politicians, such enormous power, and being envious of what they could be able to do, the audience that they had, the status that they had. So it's kind of like knowing I have the potential for it, and eager to be able to get into it, eager to grow up, but worry that maybe I won't be able to achieve the success that they have. And so it's like looking through the glass. You're just peering out and seeing and envying what they have. The grass is always greener on the other side, so to speak. And so that's track 3. And track 4, oh, my mother. I don't mean to say, ooh, my mother. The secret side. I don't know how much I want to divulge here yet, but in my song, I want to sing about this thing in my own life that I had to keep a secret. And I guess in general, keep a secret, and something concerning my mom. I'll just leave it at that. And I thought of maybe singing it sort of like a confessional. And I guess we all have, or many of us have, things that we keep secret as kids, and maybe we wish that everybody, at least we wish everybody could know the secrets so that they could put us in better context. So it's about that. And then the next video, number 5, is mermaid fantasy. And I've had a mermaid fantasy, and now, dressed up like this, being a female impersonator, maybe I could do that. And I was thinking, I could make it sexy, a sexy song, and so forth. So that's the next album. I think that's, yeah, it's album 3. So let's move on to the final, album 4. Album 4 is really short so far. I would call it Madam President, and you can already think of some ideas of what the cover would look like. Um, and in real life, I thought of entering in high school and in college. I had kind of planned on going into politics and becoming president. And politics right now has soured me so much that I don't think I could even, first of all, I wouldn't have the money. That's the first thing that drove me away from politics. And the second thing is that it's so dirtied. I don't know how effective I could actually be as, in politics. So I thought, what about and I don't want to get political in this album, but I thought I should mention specific things, societal ills. I have track 1 being the generation gap, how younger generations don't appreciate the older generations, what they've accomplished. And I don't think anybody could really disagree with that. I don't think it could really be so divisive politically. And our society not valuing intelligence as it should. And number 3, cults, because I think cults are the cult mindset, something very destructive. So I'll come up with the other tracks, but you get my idea. I'm not being political per se, but I want to point out societal ills, and so I would call it Madam President. And so those are the 4 albums so far. I should say that I looked through the frequency of albums released for major artists, especially early on in their careers. And it seems like the more prolific ones come out with, in a decade, every third year, every second year on average. So I think if I have these 4 albums, I think they could carry me for a while. All right, so on to final thoughts. My final thoughts, every time I do this, every time I come in front of a camera, I hope I'm conveying that I'm serious. This may not lead to something, but hey, who knows, I still have my job. I still have my 9-to-5 job, and a number of them actually have seen my photos, and they give me nice positive feedback. There are so many words that I think they're proud of me. They're awed by how I've done this, and that kind of eggs me on. I have this keyboard, electronic keyboard, and I will practice more. I have a business plan I'm developing, and I wish you could see the entire thing. I'm wearing I look nice below too, but the camera won't reveal. Camera cuts. I have my legs crossed and pantyhose and so forth. Anyway, I want to look even better. Each time I do this, I try to look even closer and closer to impersonating a woman. So that's one aspect. And the other aspect is, I'm proud of myself, rather than doing comedy, although there are like drag queens that do comedy, and they're good at it. I'm proud of myself for being more of an actor or actress, and fulfilling the role, learning how to act, learning how to speak, what's involved, learning makeup, putting on like a performance. And so I have those albums. I want to continue. I want to have those hip pads. I'm slimming down. Um, I've covered those in other videos. Um, and I'm developing my voice. That's one of the principal things, as you can probably hear, that along with getting my cheekbones to keep raised, because it's weird. It's so weird, because when I look like this, I look masculine. But when I do this, when I pose for pictures, like or wait, that's not. I tend to look more feminine, so I'm developing the speech mannerisms. I'm developing the voice. I and that's what got me wondering about doing music, doing the voice, practicing my voice, pitch and pitch, the way actual singers do it. I thought maybe I could actually sing. Um, so anyway, I've talked enough. More to come, but I want to share. I'm so eager to share this with you. So I hope you have a good week, good day, and I do have an email address. I'm creating a newsletter. Oh, I got to tell you before I leave. I'm developing a biography. I'm developing a newsletter. I'm developing an electronic press kit. I have a subscriber list in the works, and business plan. I mentioned that. So you can tell I have my album list, and I'm working on designing the covers for the album, the various albums, and doing a lot of background in terms of the business plan, figuring out what recording studios there are. Maybe I could. I don't know if I should give my email. Oh, what the heck? It's Samantha Bahar, all one word. Samantha, Bahar at AOL.com. See how few people actually write to me. But I have all these designs laid out and in the works. So I'm also looking for recording studio and distribution. Oh, there are different companies online companies that will help mass distribute to like SoundCloud and Apple Tunes, whatever they're called, Apple Music, and different platforms all together. There are a few different ones, and I'm looking into what's involved, and maybe creating an official website, and where you can see my bio and my photos. I've got to get a professional photographer and get some actual good shots of myself. But that'll come. Oh, I also got a lookbook, a second lookbook. A lookbook being different fashion wardrobe collections. And of course they're a little bit expensive, but I wanted to have a second one that's more geared to performing. So I figured out a trick. You may have seen my earlier videos of showing cleavage. And if there's one thing that pop stars have, female pop stars, it's showing cleavage. So it's all illusion. It's all magic trick. And I liked stage illusions when I was a kid. And so I've talked long enough. There are other things in the works. And number one, there are other things in the works. I want to be respectful to women doing this. I hope nobody's offended. Every little detail I put in, my hair, my earrings, and my clothing, slimming down. I want to look the part. And I'm really pleased with the results that women do, that I know really do respect what I'm doing, and they're impressed. And that means a lot. So I wish you good day all there. I wish you good week, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye.